Welcome to the Hunter's Advantage podcast, where a group of budget-minded hunters scour the woods for whitetail bucks and whatever other big game is in season. Tune in each week to hear the hilarious public and private land hunting stories and mistake-filled lessons learned. We believe that every hunt brings us closer to God and that we exist to share the good news. And now, your hosts, Christian Babcock and Jake Gaylord.
Listen, guys, we wouldn't be able to do the podcast if it wasn't for you all. So we just want to say that you guys are greatly appreciated, and thank you for following along each week.
And speaking of support, we are partnered with Out on a Limb Manufacturing, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, Matt and Chase are great, down-to-earth guys, and they make some of the best saddle hunting products out there. Whether you're looking for a set of climbing sticks or a mobile, lightweight, hang-on tree stand, or maybe you're even a one-sticker.
You mean tree Pilates?
Yes, tree Pilates. If you've been to the grocery store or the gas station lately, you know that Uncle Joe is doing his absolute worst to take all your money. That's why we need hunting gear that lasts year after year. And trust me, I've been rocking the same Out on a Limb Shakar climbing sticks for 4 years and the Ridge Runner 2.0 saddle hunting platform for a few years as well. This gear is built to last.
We can confidently say that Out on a Limb is the best bang for your buck.
And it's the best gear if you want to deflate a big old buck.
Ooh. Make sure you use code HNTA15 at outonilimb.com for 15% off anything on their website.
So if you can show them the same support that you guys show us, please go to outonilimb.com and use code HNTA15 for 15% off at checkout. Now let's get back to the podcast. What's up?
What's up, man? I was kind of looking around for my sunglasses. I was going to put them on upside down just to set the mood.
I guarantee anything under 100 yards dies when you wear that hat.
Well, that's false. I wore that during the turkey hunt that 1 year, and I missed.
Didn't come through then, huh?
I was gobblerless, whatever you want to call it.
That's most years in the turkey woods for us. But hey, everybody, welcome back to the Hunter's Advantage podcast. This is one of our live Q&A shows. If you guys have clicked on this and trust us to do question and answer at your own risk. We may give you a good answer, we may not, but this is just one format of the show. We do guests, we do internals, we do hunt talks, we do a lot of that stuff. We don't just do lives, but thank you for everybody for checking us out. But what's up, Jakey Crockett? How's it going?
It's Davey Crockett to you, sir. Just living outside, remembering the Alamo,
yeah,
stuff like that. Oh, speaking of the Alamo, Zach Jawinski, right?
Kajowski.
No, if you wouldn't have put me on the spot, I could have said this name. I say it all the time now.
It's what I just said.
Is it?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Kajowski. I probably still got that wrong. Anyways.
No, it's Jawinski, right?
No. We're going to be doing on the...
it's going to bother me the whole show now. It's ruined. All right, guys. See y'all next week.
Yeah. Well,
what have you been up to, Christy?
Dude.
Shooting your bow?
Yeah, I actually have been shooting my bow. Have you? Don't lie to me either. Then don't act like you froze in the frame.
I didn't. I'm here. Not as much as I should be for leaving out here in 3 weeks to go try to shoot a mule deer, but hey, getting there. We're getting there. Yeah. Here's the thing. 70 pounds, I'll admit. Too strong for your boy to pull back. So I'm going to kick it down to 65. I think if I get off early enough tomorrow, I'm going to swing by Grove and go to Honey Creek and getting it lowered about 65, 64, probably somewhere in there. But I'm still going to shoot 200 up front. So I don't know.
Shooting a man.
We'll see we'll see how much clearance I have. Granted, what's your max range for a mule deer?
Probably 70s.
70, like 75. Yeah. Would you poke one at 80, like in the 80s?
I wouldn't want to.
But would you?
I don't know, to be honest.
If there was a nice, like, forked bass.
Forky? No, I wouldn't send it on a 4 forky. That'd be
really
sad. No, I've been scouting a ton though at home. I drew a tag over here at a lake by my house that's got 4,000 or 5,000 acres, and I've been scouting. I've been out 3 or 4 times. Found a bunch of doe bedding. Found actually a pretty nice buck, about 115-inch buck the other day around the lake, and I got a Vortex spotting scope in last or a couple days ago. A real cheap one. We got a $200 one, and that's cheap for a spotting scope, not in the other stuff, but. I plan on going out there and doing some more scouting for those summer bucks with that thing. So
Nice.
been tearing up some ground. We were having really nice weather until this week.
Oh, dude, it's miserable now. I think today it was literally like 106 here. Like, dude,
Terrible.
you walk outside, you take that like hot air into your lungs. You're like, no, thank you. Make
Yep.
you right back inside.
I know it.
When does that Texas season open?
October 1st. Yep.
October. Okay,
Same thing.
Nice.
Same thing. So that'll be this is the first time in 6 years I've been able to hunt within 5 hours of my house. And now
That's
I can hunt
nice.
10 minutes from my house. So I'm back to being a normal man in the realm of the woods. Still public, but
so what's your expectations there then? Like I know since it's super close to your house, you don't have to make a drive. It's not like a huge commitment to go out. So what's your expectations? Are you going to hold out for 130s, or are you going to shoot like the first low 120s you see?
This hunt's kind of a little bit different. You have to shoot 2 does before you get your buck tag.
Oh,
per
really?
se. So
Okay.
yeah, that's going to be a task in itself. So at least kill 2 does, and then I'm in the hill country, so a 120 to 130-inch buck would be a really nice steer for around here. 140s would be like, wow, that'd be like a invite your buddies over to look at kind of buck, which that's one of those no matter where I'm at, but still.
Is that the same place that you've seen all those does, like 50 doe and like $2?
No, slightly different place. It's like 30 minutes. That place is like 30 minutes from my house. So hopefully I draw out for that too, but I'm not there yet.
Oh, I understand. I just didn't know because knowing that you have to kill 2 doe before 1 buck, it's like, okay, that's probably an easy task there. But
at the other place for sure, and you do have to do that as well there. But no,
is it till January the whole season?
Yeah,
that's nice.
And at where I'm going to be hunting now, you actually have to shoot 2 mature does, so they have to be 2 does over 2.5, so they jaw age them. So it's going to be a challenge. But we say we get into some of these questions before everybody leaves.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. I actually talked with this fellow on the phone the other day. He said,
"Oh, did you?"
Mark St. Martin II said, "Good afternoon, boys. I shared your page with a couple of my coworkers, so I hope they're tuning in. Back with a question for you guys. What is your opinion on sneaking into your stand, really taking your time, walking, setting up your equipment, trying to be as quiet as possible, or getting to your stand quick, not exactly trying to be loud, but moving faster? Basically getting set up quick, maybe a little more noise, but setting up quicker. This is mainly a morning sit question." This is interesting.
I kind of like the question. What's your thoughts on that? I have my opinion.
Man, I'm probably a medium pace kind of guy. I really don't like to mess around when I'm getting to my stand, but I'm also not the person that's going to tiptoe through the woods. If you sit in the woods just audibly for yourself for a few minutes, usually I do it when I think I hear something walking near me. I'm like, what was that? And I walk to the stand a lot of the time without a flashlight. So if you do that and you'll stop for a minute and just listen, the woods are not silent. There's always stuff scurrying and moving and walking. So I try to do a lot of my walking in the stand without a light, which means I probably make more noise than the average person, but I would rather make more noise in the dark than I would walk through with a flashlight. Does it matter either way? I'm not sure. But I do I don't book it, but I don't mess around when I get in. I don't walk in super quietly. Obviously, if I'm going to private and I'm going to a pre-hung set or something, then I'm like, I only got to make it 150 yards. I'll take that super quiet. But on public, I'm like, I'm getting to that tree. And a lot of times I'm getting to a place I don't even know what tree I'm going to. So I'm like, I need to get there quick so I can find out where I'm going. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. What do you think?
No, I mean, I kind of agree. That's exactly why I like evening sits more than morning sits, just for these exact reasons right here. Because with an evening, you don't have to have a flashlight or anything, and you can kind of see where you're stepping, and like obviously you can get out there as early as you want. I guess you can do the same in the morning, but mornings are sometimes hard to get up. But anyways, I would say I'm like more like I like to take things slowly just because I don't want to be hurt. And I know, and I agree with what you're saying with, the woods aren't quiet. So I don't know. I don't know.
Is there a
problem,
reason you like being quiet?
well,
Besides the obvious, you just
yeah,
don't want to be heard.
I just think, the less noise you make. I mean, obviously, hold on, give me a second.
Jake's got to get rid of one of his dogs. He's got like 8 of them that live
Well,
in
he's
his
sitting
house.
there
It's crazy.
just bugging me, and I was like, okay. But no, long story short, I think I'm silent. I'm probably more loud than I am, but my biggest flaw out of the whole ordeal was once I like get to the spot, and let's say it's a new spot where I don't already have a tree stand hung, I will already spend 30 or 45 minutes just at the base of the tree, seeing if this tree right here is better than this tree 20 yards away. And so with that, like sometimes I'll just say, piss on it, and I'll just, basically run through the woods. But other times, if I have a cool head, then yeah, I'll probably take my time. It's a long-winded answer. I'm
I've
sorry.
noticed that you and I have very different, not very different, but we have some differences in our approaches. Like, you like to examine a lot of different options for trees. I tend to like be very like, that's the one, it'll work, I can make it work. And then also you try to really, really minimize your movement when you're in the tree, very sit still. And I'm like,
Mhm.
not that I'm just like this, but I move a lot more in the tree, especially in the saddle, than you do. And it's been funny us sitting together because I can tell it makes your skin crawl a little bit.
It does. It does. And I'm trying to get better at it just because when you hunt with buddies, the whole point is to kind of have a good time. If you shoot one, that's just a bonus. And like I do have a problem with that, like big time. If someone else is moving, and I think it's just because of the private I hunt. Like obviously there's a corn feeder. That's why I set my corn feeders 40, 45 yards out when I hunt on private, because the doe seem like they have a severe case of schizophrenia. And if I even seems like I even, go to flick a mosquito out of my face, I got 6 deer yelling at me from the other side of the timber. And so just with that, I try to take that precaution like everywhere I go. So sometimes it's not a good thing, but I mean, I think it's helped in the long run though.
It doesn't hurt to be still. I don't think that ever
Yeah.
hurts. But all right, I think we got that one. So Zach said, it's, by the way, it's Gajowski.
I
I don't know.
ask
What's up? Sorry, Zach.
48.
We talk on Instagram all the time, and I still can't say your last name. But what we said was, he said, "What's up?" So what's up, dude? The glue from YouTube said, "I just saw your heavy arrow video. Are you guys going to be using heavy arrows this year? What's your thoughts, Jake?"
I mean, I think we're using relatively heavy arrows for our whole setup, right? Like we are shooting, or at least I'm shooting 200 up front, but I don't have as long as an arrow shaft as you do and all that. So I think last year I was shooting 585, and this year I'm 545. So we're not in that crazy like 600-700 grain setup, but I think we're like at a happy medium. So
Yeah, this year, one of the things, that video that I did about the ranch fairy setup, there's been like hundreds of comments, and some of them are really dumb and some of them are actually pretty well thought out. One of the things that stuck with me in one of the comments was a guy that had requested, he said, "Yeah, you had really good results with a heavy arrow and a single bevel. Why don't you try 100 grain single bevel on that same arrow and see if you get the same results? Is it just the broadhead or is it the weight of the arrow?" So I think I'll probably do a little bit of tinkering throughout the year. I think my Western setup will be probably closer to that 540 range. And then I'll probably try some 150s again. And then eventually I'll probably try that 200 grain ranch fairy. I'll try them all this year. So I want to go from a moderate to a really heavy and just kind of test in video and see what happens. So pretty curious mind.
So we have a lot on the docket. We got antelope, mule deer, elk, and then whitetail. Okay. So are you going to shoot the same for at least the first 3, or are you going to try to switch it up, mid roll?
I think I'll have a Western and a whitetail setup. I think I will have a kind of shoot further kind of setup. So something a little bit lighter, but still a really sharp single bevel up front. Still be well over 500 grains, but something
Yeah,
I
it's
can
because you're
shoot.
draw length though.
Yeah, I can't shoot arrows under 500
Yeah.
very easily, unless you're shooting a Twizzler with no veins. But I'll probably use that probably 100 grain single bevel up front for those Western trips, just something I can poke a lot further. Because, and that kind of made me sound silly, but we had a podcast with Whitetail Fit last week, and dude, it's really hard to get within 70 of a freaking antelope. So
Yeah,
that's kind of my thoughts. I'll probably be running a Western and then a whitetail setup.
I got you.
All right. Okay, so Sal said, I first heard this comparison from a Wired to Hunt podcast. I've only tried to get to and in my stand quick once, and that was because I jumped what sounded like 5 deer walking in at once. I use a climber on public land, and they are notorious for making noise, setting them up, locking the cables in, and climbing into the tree. Hopefully that all fit in the text box. Yeah, it did. Yeah, we've hunted. Shoot, when did we quit hunting with climbers, Jake? It wasn't that long ago.
For me, it was like 2021. So might have been 2022 to be honest. But regardless, like I like climbers. I think they're more comfortable. But just if I feel like once you switch to a saddle, it's like you'll never go back. At least for the running gun style.
Yeah. I mean, that is one of the things with a climber. I remembered like every lug up the tree. I was like, ugh. Like that was, and then you're
The bark
against
scratches exactly, and it starts falling, and yeah, you feel like you're just absolutely exploding the woods.
Yeah, I'd say the quieter the better, but I ain't gonna take 2 hours getting to my stand either. So there's a happy medium. Brian from Facebook said, I moved to from Missouri to Florida recently. Let me tell you, I was so mad when I saw how small the deer are here.
No walking.
That is funny. And then he followed it up and said, why are the deer smaller in the South?
That's a good question. I don't know. Oh, what's his real name? No walking. I can't even think of his TikTok username right now.
Oh, it's Studblood.
Studblood. Yeah, you need to. That's a good question for him. You need to find his TikTok or Facebook or something like that, and ask him that question. Why is it though? I mean, because we've had Bronson and everybody on the podcast, and so surely we would know.
I would think it's availability of food and then the habitat. It's a lot hotter, and you have that. I don't know what the technical term for it is, but the more colder the region, the bigger the animals get, and I don't know what that has to do with. Maybe it's availability of food or just the terrain. But the more north you go, the bigger body they get, and more south you go, they usually get smaller, which is funny though, because then you get into South Texas and they look like Midwestern deer again. And then you get into Mexico and the mule deer get huge. So I don't think it's completely linear, but they are a lot smaller in the South. I'll tell you, I was walking my dog one time when I first moved to Texas, and you ever get that feeling something's like watching you? And I was like, what is that? And I turned to my right. I promise you, not 5 feet away, there was probably a 140-inch buck, and he looked like he was 95 pounds. I mean, just a mega.
A labradoodle with horns.
The rack was, dude, honestly, the rack was really impressive. But yeah, he was not that big bodied. Yeah, if you're moving from Missouri to Florida.
I have a question. I don't know if you've set out cameras or if you run cameras or whatever, but what's probably the average deer in Florida? Have you figured that out yet? About like rack size and body size, but I guess while we're waiting on that.
So there's a few on Instagram that haven't came through. They don't come through on the StreamYard app, sadly. Jim Belier said, "What's up, guys? What's up, man?" And then Kyle Ford Outdoors. He typically tunes in live. We really appreciate you tuning in, man. He said, "Have you guys got any of your mock scrapes out yet?" Jake, any mock scrapes?
I don't.
Jake's not a mock scraper.
The only mock scrape I probably have is probably at the bottom of my tree stand at private. I peed off of it a couple times. Maybe it turned into the mock scrape. I haven't checked it yet, but yeah, I don't necessarily run those. Christian,
I have one out right now on my private, and it's kind of a transitionary area, but like there's a big bedding area here, and then there's a big oxbow of a river, and they kind of bed all up in that lay down in there too. And there's this one little transition route between the two that I always catch deer coming back and forth on camera. And I put one out there about 3 weeks ago, but I didn't have a cell cam to put out on it. So Peyton's going to put up a cell cam on that mock scrape this week. And
Maybe
allegedly he's going to. So I do have one out, and that is a strategy I plan on using on the public down here in Texas, and I plan on using it on a private, and heck, might even try it in Oklahoma this year on some public. We'll see. I'm really interested in that. It's just another way, especially in a place where you can't bait or use any attract. Like that's another reason to get a deer picture of a deer. So
you have cameras. You have cameras on one, you said?
I do not have cameras on.
Gotcha.
I have one out, but
well,
my orientation for that draw hunt in Texas is not till the 17th of August, so I can't run cameras out there yet.
Understood.
So I've just been scouting. He had one more question on it. Okay, CD Stroker on Instagram said, "What's up, boys? What's up?" Luca Chance 17 said, "Great content. Glad to tune into your live. Appreciate it, man." And then last one from Instagram, Kyle Ford said, "You guys going to transition into any trade shows? I feel like you guys would love them." What do you think, Jake? Going to do any trade shows?
We went to
one this year.
Yeah, we went to ATA in St. Louis. We found out St. Louis is kind of a poop hole, but personal opinion. That's all. But no, it was fun. We ran into like Joe Miles. I think we seen the hunter guys there. I don't think we went up to him, but Tim Wiles, it was fun. Yeah. Yep, that was our first ATA show. I know for sure this ain't ATA related or any trade show related, but like TAC and SHOT 3D, like we're probably going to step up our game and go to a few more of those next year. But yeah, I think trade shows are like really underrated. Like I know they've just talking with people who's been in the business for longer than obviously we have and been to more trade shows. They've all said that they've kind of declined, I guess, for some reason, but they're kind of slept on. Like they're declining, but they're actually super, super fun and a really good place to rub elbows.
Yeah, I'd like to do the Oklahoma one. So I think there's the Backwoods show in Oklahoma, and then there's another one. So yeah, I would like to do that. It's just time, right? It's hard to commit to doing a bunch of stuff. We struggle to get all the stuff we want to done now, anyways.
Well, we were talking about going to scouting that place we usually hunt every single year in Oklahoma, a piece of public, and we were trying to go through the calendar. It's like, okay, it's already August. Season starts October 1st. We're leaving out to go try to chase mule deer in like 3 weeks. Yeah, and so it's just like, when can we go and scout that place? And it's like, well, long story short, we can't. So
and people continue to have fall weddings, even though it's a mortal sin. Like there was 4 I've got invitations for already this fall, and I'm like, 2 of them are in November. I'm like, Lauren, you got to really examine the people that you're friends with. They're not good people.
How close are you to them?
Thankfully, most of them are at my house.
Nice.
So, but that requires me to be home, and I can't hunt. So, I mean, it's
usually on a Saturday. I mean,
they're always on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Always. Note to self: don't.
Well, that sucks. Lauren's going to have a +1 to bring still.
Yeah, I need. Don't let her hear this. I'll be in trouble. Kobe Harriman said, "I want to know if wearing a true vintage Coon Skin cap raises your testosterone by 100 or 200 points."
It's 450, and no, this isn't authentic. This is from Atwoods, so it's probably made of like some sort of synthetic material just to save all the vegan lovers out there. So
synthetic.
No,
That's
it does cover up my receding hairline pretty well though. So I might rock with it from here on out, at least until I get my Trump hat in.
Yeah, in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Kurt Watkins said, "Who comes up with the twisted Tik Toks? Very good stuff." What do you? I'm curious what that means exactly.
Does he mean like all
Twisted?
the memes?
Oh yeah, probably. That's probably 80% of those are Carol, who is not on here. So he contributes with his meme game, and he's had some pretty good ones recently. So
there's been some good ones. There was one I seen the other day, and like after I watched it on Instagram, I checked all the other platforms and just to see, because I was like, dude, this one's gonna hit. It was one of Denzel Washington, and the caption was when it's the last day of deer camp and you see like a little Forky, and Denzel sitting there like I'm not going to leave with nothing.
I made that one.
You know who I be.
It's Denzel. He goes, I'm from around the way. I ain't leaving with nothing.
Yeah.
He said, I'm leaving with something. I'm leaving with something.
I was like, preach. That is the most realistic thing I've seen all year.
It's so true. I love those ones. Those make my day. So Jordan Wiley said, seen the video on Broadheads. Will there be a mechanical video with a heavy arrow setup? So that's a good point. Unlike a lot of people with brains that like to bow hunt, I don't mind doing that at all. Like some people, I'm not too sold out on fixed or mechanicals to not test something. So that might be another thing to test, would be heavy arrow with fixed blade, heavy arrow with mechanical, and just see if the arrow weight influences better penetration even with the mechanical. So I would like to test that. Yeah, if I can get enough specimens with deer, which we do have a lot of does to shoot, I might try that too. I'm not above it.
The only
I'd be
thing I
curious.
can't shake that the Ranch Fairy said was, okay, you have your mechanical, right? Like, so this, for instance, is like a Grim Reaper Whitetail Special.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine there's an arrow attached on this, but when it hits the rib cage, so I'm trying to line it up from a camera that's not on my desk. He said when it hits, and let's say these aren't already deployed, it hits, and when it goes through, it teeters because of the angle when the blade's open, and so let's say,
like this.
Yeah, let's say they expand. I know I'm doing a horrible job at demonstrating, but when it hits, it'll go like that until it catches, and then it'll straighten back out. And with that, that's what I can't like picture mechanicals now, like at least using them for a while.
Yeah. We'll try them though. I'm not above it. So
I just had great results with the single bevels though, from the 2 deer I've shot with them, very high sample size, but
huge
still.
sample size. Jordan, comment what broadhead you'd want to see us shoot if you wanted to see us shoot a mechanical, because I'd try it. Here we go. Zach Gajowski said, did y'all kick the OD bros? Kick out the OD bros? No, we didn't kick out the OD bros. We haven't been doing very many lives, to be honest, and I don't know if they have been either, but they got a lot of good content. Go check out their stuff. Oh no, here's Abby. Not the Coon Skin hat.
Never mind. I was going to say something a little twisted. Never mind.
I already knew where you were going with that.
Hello, Abby.
Trevor Rom said, what's up, fellas? Just wanted to pop in and say hi. I can't watch/listen right now. Sorry, words are hard. First day with my new tongue. But I'll catch the show on Apple Podcasts tomorrow. Even in PA, this heat's got me so ready for the leaves to change.
Dude.
Trevor,
that's why our tongues don't work. We've had about 6 heat strokes this summer. We're ready for it to change as well.
I am this close to finishing the Rutcation video, and I just every time I keep editing it, I look at the drone shots and see the color of the leaves, and it literally like takes me back to a space of like, oh, what is it like to be at deer camp? What is it like for me to be cold? And just watching those videos gets me excited. Long sleeve shirt. What would that be like? Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be here very soon. Joseph. Let's call you Joseph. Try it, Chovanek. Deer just don't have as much food. I've seen 300-pound deer in South Texas. Yeah, exactly. You understand it. Here we go. Here's another one. He said Brock Fall. I don't know how to say the first one. Brock. Okay. Good evening. Just got turned on to your guys' content. Love what I'm seeing. Keep up the great work, Iowa Hunter. Heck yeah.
Ooh.
Appreciate you guys. Are you listening or watching?
We're branching out into the Midwest. I like it.
They probably hear Southern perspective and they're like, moving on.
Yeah.
He said 120. I'm good.
Have you ever year and a half year old faggot? No, I'm just kidding.
Have you ever noticed that when we talk to people like Don and stuff, he'll be like, yeah, he was just 140 incher. And I'm like, perspectives
are key in this, right? Like he was like, yo, yeah, I can go out and shoot a 150 any day of the week. And I'm like, really? Send me a pin.
What would that
I'll
be
be
like?
there. At the Hunter's Advantage, we live by the KISS slogan.
You were not supposed to tell them that.
No, I meant we like to keep it simple, stupid. All jokes aside, Exodus is the definition of keeping it simple. Let's say you aren't really sure what arrow setup you should run. The Exodus Arrow Builder will help you build the right arrows for your exact setup.
Or if you don't have time to change those trail cam batteries in the dog days of summer, Exodus has a great selection of cell cameras and regular trail cameras. And if you pair them with one of their solar panels, you'll be set for a long while. I've shot over a dozen deer and a big old black bear in Saskatchewan with these arrows, and I trust them to fly right and get the job done. And they have something for everyone with the Exodus NIS micro diameter arrows or the Exodus MMTs.
So if you want to save money on Exodus arrows, cell cameras, or anything else they got on their website, make sure to check out ExodusOutdoorGear.com and use code HA10 for 10% off.
Once again, that's ExodusOutdoorGear.com, and make sure to use code HA10 for 10% off at checkout. Now let's get back to the podcast. Right. Joseph said TTHA. Okay. Not sure what that means. Spell it out for us. We're not that smart.
The TTHHA advantage.
The Hawk 2 advantage. Michael Hankins said Oklahoma non-resident license have gotten outrageous, $710. What do y'all think about that? Assuming Michael, you're not a resident by that.
It sounds like you're upset about it, and I want to give you sympathy, but I am ecstatic as a resident. Christian?
It's a lot. 710.
It is a lot. It is a lot. When it's more like I was griping about Kansas and I didn't even draw out. So
I can tell you Kansas is all in is like probably 6 something. And
it's like 550, I thought.
Yeah, but you got to buy a hunting license and the tag and stuff. Maybe it's 550. I don't know. So I could see why that is outrageous. The argument that people use is if you really want to still hunt there, you'll find the 710. I get it. 710 is not an insignificant amount of money. That's a lot of money.
Also, at the same point, in Kansas, you spend $550 or $600, whatever it is, for a buck and a doe. Here in Oklahoma, you get 4 does and 2 bucks for that 710. You also got to realize that. And again, $700 is a lot of money, but as a resident,
sponsored by the
UWC. I like it.
No, I mean, I don't know, Michael. I think it's I guess we'll have to see. The main thing for me, as someone who cares about the state, is the strain on the resource. That's all I care about. So I don't know. Maybe it's probably, but the thing is, once you set the precedent at $710, it's probably not going down. So
that is true.
I get it, man. I feel for you as someone who hunts out of state, but I think it'll positively impact the deer herd in Oklahoma. I really do believe that. So.
And Oklahoma has good deer too. I mean,
doesn't mean it's going to positively impact your wallet. It's not going to. Okay. Isaac said, what is more legit, quote unquote, shooting a deer on a corn pile with a compound or shooting one with a crossbow with no bait? All right. In this cancel us question of the week,
a lose-lose answer coming up, Christian.
No, you answer this one. What do you got?
You know what? The only way you can do it is to be honest, Isaac. Isaac Pelletier. I think that's how you say it. I would, rather shoot one over a corn pile with a compound than a crossbow. Just because I've never shot one with a crossbow, but I have a buddy and he uses it sometimes, and he's told me, he was like, listen, I can, and his isn't even a really good one. He probably bought his 15 years ago, right? Or it's a 15-year-old crossbow. And he was like, I can go out without picking it up for a year and literally drive tacks at like 85, 90 yards all day long. And he said, I don't even have the best scope. So with that being said, it's like, yeah, okay. You see a deer. Let's say you're on public. You see a deer. You range it, which is, for me, it seems like the hardest part is trying to range the son of a gun. And okay, it's at 45. It's at 50. Okay, it's walking. Whatever. You got a crossbow that shoots 400 feet per second. I would say that still yet a compound is going to be harder over a corn pile, because corn pile deer, at least where I hunt in, small segmented parcels, I think deer will associate big piles of corn or corn feeders with danger because he's seen his mom, his Uncle Joe, Tony get shot and, put in a truck bed. So I think they're kind of more skittish as well. So I don't know. What's your thoughts, Christy?
I don't know. They're both, I haven't done the crossbow one. I've done the deer over corn, and I can tell you, after about 10 of those, it kind of gets old. But if I had to pick one of the two, I would pick shooting a deer with a compound over a corn pile. I don't know if any of them are more legit. Shooting one over with a crossbow with no bait. No, I'm not interested in that. I actually was watching Buck Commander, I think it was 2 days ago, and they were showing a really nice Barnett crossbow. I mean, just like a really nice one. I was like, man, it's got to be $2,000. They're like, this one's $599. I was like, that's how much a bow sight costs for some, and it was really nice. So, I'd rather shoot one with my compound over a corn pile. That's just me though. Y'all, I'll do what you want to do. Jordan Wiley said a dead meat. G5. Yeah, we could try that.
What do you think's the best kind of expandable? Like just from your personal experience,
the best expandable. All things considered, it's probably hard to beat a 2-blade cut on contact. But I just think the 3 blades, they suck up a lot of energy. It's a huge hole.
It is a
huge. It's like hitting them
huge
with a 50 cal when it actually works. But I shot a lot of deer with a Swacker or a Rage, so that's my thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
Zach said, "Fellows, we need some merch to drop." Yeah, Zach, this is funny. I was talking to my brother the other day, and he was talking to me about merch. We do need to drop some merch. I think it'd be good if we dropped at least one t-shirt design and then restock some hats. So with hunting season coming up, I think that's a pretty decent idea.
But just throwing this out there for people who may be listening in the future when this comes out on podcast app or whatever, the prices might be a little bit increased. That's not because of us. Trust me, we make literally probably 25 cents per hat or t-shirt that we sell after shipping and everything goes in. So we don't make anything off that stuff. So what the price is basically just at cost price. And even if it's $30 for a hat or, 25 for a shirt or whatever it's going to be, just know that, trust me, we're not trying to Jew anybody over.
No, it's $25 just to make the hat. Yeah. So especially with the patches. So, okay, let's read a few from Instagram right quick. Kyle Ford said, Illinois has big beer and deer event at the end of this month, and the Iowa Deer Classic is always a blast to meet with everyone. I've never done a tack event though. Yeah, you got to. I don't know if there's a bunch of Midwestern tacks. I know there's one in Tennessee, or there used to be. You got to try tack. It's fun. But yeah, we'd like to go to some trade shows too.
Yeah. It would be fun.
Zach Grumble said, what is one of the best single bevel broadheads that don't break the bank? That's a good question. Jake's not a gearhead, so he can't tell you.
The best single bevel?
That doesn't break the bank.
Oh.
They're going
I'm all out of ideas. It seems like all of them now are like $70 for a 3-pack, and it's like, damn, I got a 6-arrow quiver, and I at least want all matching broadheads on that sucker. So I guess there goes $150 of my life, flushed down the toilet right there in one single purchase. But what we use is the VPA broadheads.
Jake's figured it out. That's close enough. Yep, single bevels.
Those will run about $75 for a 3-pack, and not necessarily budget minded, but they will work, and you can resharpen
them. I'll tell you, I think the Magnus are a little bit cheaper if you're wanting.
How much are they?
Bevel. I think they're $45 or $50 for 3. Gosh, it's crazy. That's the cheap broadhead.
Are they? You're right, but are they reusable and stuff? You think? Like,
the rancher gave me a packet when he was at the house, so I haven't tried them. But we'll see. Yeah, I think there's some that are probably closer to $40-$50 for a 3-pack. I wouldn't buy any cheap Chinese ones though. I would not recommend that.
Little taco shell.
Yeah, tried that. Been there. Kyle Cummings, said, what is your favorite and least favorite Oklahoma WMA? What a trick question. What's your favorite WMA?
So basically, where not to go and then where to go.
Yeah, what's your? I can tell you. I know Jake's least favorite.
It's 3 letters. Okay, I'll let you figure it out from there.
Yeah. Our favorite. I don't even want to say that. I don't even want to say where or
Okay,
region.
okay. I'll just give you a little heads up. It's south of Welch. So if you don't know where Welch is, just Google Welch. Welch, Oklahoma. It's south of there. So
That narrows it down.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't want to comment on WMAs because I don't want to crap on one that people like, and I don't want to give away ones that I like. So hopefully that's a really cryptic, terrible answer for you. I'm sorry.
But if you want to go check out a place, go check out CAW WMA. That place is a poop hole.
Gosh. Jordan Wiley said, I remember seeing in the video of single bevels, although they performed well, there were some that didn't have a good blood trail. Yeah, you're right. You're right on that. Jake, did you?
I would say, I mean, I would just say that I think we talked with the Ranch Fairy, and he said this, and I wholeheartedly agree with it. I think blood trails are like something that is going to be different every single time, right? Because as we all know, every shot is different. It could be quartering the same exact way, but your shot placement is going to be here, a little bit up, a little bit down. The deer could be more skittish, it could be more alert than the previous deer, and so it could drop or it could not. Long story short, I think you're going to have different hits regardless of like the same exact shot placement or setup or whatever it is. So therefore, you're not going to get the same exact blood trail every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, when it comes to like, and that's kind of why we use the expandables at first too. Like we went with like cheap fix, and then we're like, okay, we're hunting this public. It has 9 foot tall native grasses. And so when we shoot one or they run in there, we want a lot of blood to follow because it's really hard to track in those really tall grass. That was our thought process. And then we found out like, hey, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe crap. But I just think, you use what you can afford comfortably and like you're pretty confident in. And I think regardless of your broadhead setup, I think you'll do just fine.
And if you watch that Ranch Fairy video, the arrow setup that I built, there's mixed results. Like there were some that were really good and there were some that were just piss poor. So take that with a grain of salt. I think if there's one thing I would tip my hat to that I think I did a good job in that video of, it was just laying it out how it was. We're not sponsored by any company or any broadhead or the Ranch Fairy. So yeah, some were good, some were bad. But I can tell you one thing, they're variable. That's what we noticed. And I've had bad blood trails with mechanicals too. So it's not always up and to the right with those. Use what you like. Michigan Harvester, this is my guy right here. I think this is Judah.
Man?
What's up, y'all? What's up, man? And then
Barrick.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Barrick. I like that.
That's cool. He said, I'm back, y'all. What are y'all's arrow setups? Michigan Harvester said.
You want to take the lead on this?
I think we talked about it a little bit earlier in this, but my arrow setup is a Exodus NIS. It is a 5mm arrow, and I currently am shooting VPA single bevel 150s on the front. Might drop that down to 100 grain and try that out for my Western setup, which will probably be in the 525, 530 range. So that's my arrow setup, and I'll probably shoot 550 this fall for deer, or maybe even try 600. We'll see. What's your arrow setup, Jake?
I got the 300 spine Exodus MMT arrows. I got a 200 grain Vantage Point single bevel up top, and I think total weight wise, it's like 540 something, 540, 545, something like that. And so far, I mean, I've considered it the happy medium, so I'm looking forward to it.
So Barrick said, LOL, last year I shot a 120 as my first buck and got flack for it. Yeah, he's from Iowa, shot a 120 and got flack for it.
That's that Midwestern attitude, man. But
here's what I've noticed a lot through talking with people from different areas. you don't realize how big this country really is until you drive and see. And you think that people are ignorant in their opinion, but you realize that they only know where they're from, right?
Perspective.
Perspective. I try not to take what we see and be like, if you don't see a 140 on public, you're not doing nothing, because we might just have a really good public situation. And I try not to apply that to other places. What I see a lot in the Midwestern folks is like, if you don't shoot a 130 or 140 or better, what are you doing? They're all over the place. And you're like, they're not though. They're really
a nice
not where
3-year-old.
I'm. Yeah. Yeah. So that Midwestern attitude, man, I've seen it on the socials, but there's also a lot of people that understand it the other way. So,
But congrats on the 120. That's a nice buck, dude. I think
Mhm.
regardless of where you're at.
I got many of those. And I'm going to keep shooting them. So Lance Brown on Instagram said, I'm actually in the bow hunting league with Huntworks and Brandon Saunders and Lance Brown this year. He said, are you staying with the heavier arrow this year? I think we answered that quite on this podcast already, but yeah, I think we're going to try to do a moderately heavy arrow, not an extremely heavy. Here's a funny one.
Michigan Harvester. What's y'all's favorite energy drink? Christian, you going to go ahead and just hold it up, or
this one's
we are sponsored by? No, I'm just kidding. We're not sponsored
by Rain. I wish. This is my favorite. And the orange. I think this one's the Orange Dreamsicle. So this has 300 milligrams of caffeine. And what's my record at camp, Jake?
Oh,
5
dude.
4.
in a day, probably like 5, I would say. Like, this is mid like rutcation. Everybody's just now starting to get like really run down. You would, granted, in the mornings you would drink Red Bull, so you'd have like one in the drive-in, one after you got into your stand as like a little reward. So I think in total those are like 160 per. So you got 320 just in the morning sit, and then you probably have at least one midday and then one in the evening. So you're at 320, and let's say the reins are 306. So you got like 920 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah,
in one day.
Can't keep the pin on the deer because I'm sitting there cracked out.
What did Cooper say that one time? He's like, this bang's got me shooken up. He said, bangs and big bucks. He said, you can't beat it.
Yeah, that's what sustains us. My favorite is the Orange Dreamsicle from Rain. Not that 90% of people care, but what's your favorite, Jake? I also don't drink Red Bulls anymore because of the sugar. There's like 50 grams of sugar in each one of them.
Oh, yeah, and like not enough caffeine. You basically get a sugar high instead of a caffeine high.
They made me feel bad, sick.
Red Bulls. Yeah. I really mess with the Orange Dreamsicle. I do like Bang. Something I never had, but I had it, I don't know, like probably 2 weeks ago when I was at work. I got me a little 6-hour energy. And dude,
a 6-hour or 5-hour?
I don't know, whatever it is, like 5 or 6 hour energy.
5-hour energy.
Those things work. Like, I was thinking it's going to taste like cough syrup and like it was going to make me feel icky, but it was actually pretty solid. So it might be getting like a 12-pack of those for hunting this year, at least.
Just to put it in perspective on our rutcation, I usually go to Costco to buy our food, and I buy the 20 packs of energy drinks. And in a week, between 3 or 4 people, this is not health advice. I hope you're not coming to a hunting podcast for health advice. But we will drink probably 40 in a week between 3 of us, which is really bad for you. It's terrible for you.
Yeah.
But you're really dragging. By day 4 or 5, you're like, take me home.
That's part of it, though. That's part of it. Being dehydrated, drinking a few little brewskis and then topping it off the next morning with an energy drink. It's like, dude, that's peak deer hunting right there. It can't get any better.
I know it.
But that is a Southern's whitetail mentality. You move to something like elk hunting or more of the Western game, they're probably like, dude, what? There ain't no way.
I know. The Element said self-made hat. Jake, did you make that by yourself?
I actually did. I got one of those little coil spring traps, and I caught like 6 cats in it. So I ended up getting one of those dog-proof traps, and it got his hand stuck in it, and I skinned out the hind end of that sucker, and I just put it on my head, and it's been there ever since. So
how much did you really pay for that thing at Atwood's?
$5.99 at Atwood's. Yes.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Go get you one.
I got it like 3 years ago, and I was like, I got to get this some use in it. I'd probably have to kill like a turkey or a deer, because so far wearing this hunting, I am 0-1. So it's
Oh, I
bad
do
juju.
remember that. Yeah, that's when you shot that turkey in between its legs, right?
No, it was all puffed up. We were hunting out of the blind, and I had my bow, and it shot the tail feathers out. So I came home with the tail feathers, but just no meat.
At least you had a nice hat. Kyle Ford said, Christian, I sent you some photos of last year's mock scrapes. I'm sure you'll love the results. Sweet. Yeah, we'll check them out. And then Lance Brown said, yeah, I missed that. My bad. No worries. I'm counting on Lance to carry me in the bow hunting league this year. So I hope.
Oh, Brandon Saunders, Lance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
He shot a good one in Kansas last year. I think it was last year.
Yeah, he did. I need him to do it one more time for me. Come on, Lance. You can do this.
That's awesome.
Zach said somebody's got to try the beast heads. Yeah. I would try them. I would absolutely try them. So if you want to send me a $60 pack, I'll send you a hat and a shirt, Zach. We'll swap. He said, just represent the fellows is what it's about. I'll buy the hat and a shirt. Yeah, there we go. We appreciate that, man. Hopefully we can have some for you to wear.
Should we do some like HA Coon hats, maybe?
Dude, yeah. That'd be awesome.
Could you imagine Justin at deer camp shirtless with an HA Coon hat on, cooking McGriddles?
Glassons. He doesn't need a coon hat. He could just shave his chest with one swipe and make one. For you guys that don't know, you're gonna see in our Rutcation video this year. If it was dim, like that early morning dim fog, and my Uncle Justin ran underneath your tree, you'd think you saw a Sasquatch. Like, he is so hairy from his back to his front. He's got the beard. We might have to make some Justin chest hair hats. There's plenty to go around.
Keep you warm in the winter.
So, talking about the cheap single bevel options, Ground and Pound Outdoors said a Crimson Talon Cleaver single bevel is $30. Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. Crimson Talon.
That's
you know that
reputable.
Yeah, you know that really wide buck that Justin shot in Kansas on public.
Mm-hmm.
That really, he shot that one with a Crimson Talon. So I remember in like 2010, Crimson Talon, you go to Atwood's and they'd have Crimson Talon, like Gator Talon, like a bunch of those broadheads. So yeah, they're good stuff. So Brian Dutcher said, what does CRP mean and what does WMA mean? Jake, you know what either of these mean?
WMA is Whitetail Management Area. Now, what's different about that than
wildlife?
What did I say?
Whitetail.
Oh,
it can be that too.
You know what's on the brain? Whitetail. No, it's Wildlife Management Area. You're right. Now, what's different than that from, like, if you look on X and it says, like, let's say, Cottonberry WMA. Okay. Do I know the difference between Cottonberry WMA from Cottonberry Public Land? Then no, because it pops up two different things. Do I know what it means? No. Now, CRP, on the other hand, that ain't nothing a quick Google search can't fix.
I think it's Crop Reserve Program is what CRP is.
And what does that mean?
I think CRP, from the way I understand it, I'm not a Midwesterner and I don't own land or have any CRP, but I think what it is it's a government program that you plant a certain acreage in a certain plant, whether it be native grasses or whatever, and you're required to keep it in that. I believe it's for wildlife preservation for a certain number of years, and they pay you on a per acre basis. But I don't know what crop it is, so that's the extent that I know about it.
This Google says many a hunter has heard the term CRP, which has become big word, synonymous with thick, brushy parts of a property that is ideal deer habitat. While yes, that's what CRP field is, the acronym stands for Conservation Reserve Program, a land conservation program that improves habitat. So I guess just basically whatever the best, like, natural browse and habitat is for that, area. That's what they plant or leave.
Some Midwesterners listening, like,
Listen,
misinformation.
we're from the South. All we know is corn feeders and public land, baby. Can I get a yee yee?
Amen. I love it. His name is Barrick, right? Yep, Barrick. That's right.
Yep.
Said good night. I'll listen to it on the playback. Love the content. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Happy hunting this fall. Hopefully we'll see you before then. Michigan Harvester said, what's so funny?
I still can't get over the CRP thing.
I know.
That's
Somebody's skin
We're
is crawling.
dumb, dude. We're dumb.
Michigan Harvester said, would y'all rather shoot 190-inch non-typical or 165-inch typical? I know this guy likes deer hunting because he made the numbers just close enough where you're like, oh, I don't know. What do you think?
That's a thinker right there. That's a thinker. Dude, just imagine how big 190-inch non-typical is, though.
It could be 12 inches wide with just
that is true
baseball bats.
Because Justin's buck, it looked like a mid 130s, and it ended up being like 165 or whatever it was. I'm gonna say a 190 non-typical. The only reason I say that because I got like a 160 typical behind me, so that's the only reason I'd say that, or else I'd say the 165.
I'd probably take a 190 non-typical because that's a 190 to 165 is a pretty big gap. It's not. Now, there's no doubt that a 165 typical could dwarf a 190-inch typical frame-wise or presence-wise.
Dude, it would have to have beams for days. Beams and tines to be 160.
Yeah. So I would probably take the 190 non-typical just because it's probably got mass. It's probably got kickers, probably got stickers, drop tine, something like that.
Everything.
If you said 170-inch typical, that's probably when you're getting me. If you said a booner,
an extra 5 inches, 5 inches means a lot to you, Christian?
that's a lot, right?
I think so.
No, I mean,
Is
just
Abby
a
still in
booner.
here?
Just a booner. I don't think so. Just
Anyways.
a booner. That'd do it for me. I'd be happy with either one of them.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Dalen said, go ahead.
Sloan. Dalen Sloan said, when y'all having the rutcation this year?
When's
we
our
know?
rutcation?
Do we know?
I don't know yet.
Do you know? So typically what we did in the past is we kind of just picked the date, like whenever we were free from work or whatever. But since we're pretty flexible with our work schedules now, I think what we're going to do is kind of have like a 3-week time frame. And usually that's like, before it was like first, maybe November 3rd, November 1st, sometimes we even got there like October 30th or 31st. And what we're doing now is we're waiting till that first good cold snap in early November, because in the past, what's happened is we would get there, October 31st, and we're supposed to stay until November 7th. Well, it didn't get good until like November 5th or 6th, because a cold front would come in and then the deer movement would pick up. And where we hunt in the more kind of, I guess, mountainous terrain, that's pretty key to have them really move and get on their feet, or else you could be 65, 70 yards out of the game and you'll never know.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometime late October, early November, I can tell you that I got a wedding invitation the other day for November 9th.
No, absolutely not. That's when you write in the comments, will you be attending RSVP? No. Any comments? Sorry. Best of luck.
Well,
Are you close?
The hard part is Lauren she's in that wedding. So very good friend.
I'm sure she'll look beautiful, but you can see
terrible.
pictures.
That's terrible. Nobody's taking my wife to a wedding. No, yeah, probably some late October, early November. It really is weather dependent, because I can tell you last year we checked the cameras during that really good cold snap in late October. I think it was the 30th. And do you remember the amount of bucks that were on that one camera?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it like 4 or 5 different ones in like one day? And we went from like no pictures.
They were all going. You're talking about that 2 mile spot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there was like 5 or 7 different type of bucks, and it's like all within a 2-day period, and you're just like, man, I'm sitting here and for 3 days straight now, and I haven't seen anything. Why? Because it's 87 degrees in November.
And it was like a light switch, and they were all good ones too.
Oh, definite shooters, like 115 inches all day.
Easy. Joseph said, "Where do you hunt in Texas?" So I've hunted a few different places in
High
Texas.
fences.
I wish my wall would look better. I've hunted the hill country, so out near, let's just call it Fredericksburg. I've hunted North Texas, and then I've hunted closer to my house. I live in Georgetown now, so there goes a $40 broadhead. So I've hunted closer to my house in Georgetown, which is what I'm going to be doing this year. So that's where I'm at right now. I'd like to hunt more in Texas. I can't find public that's not draw only near me, so that's the only reason I haven't hunted it more.
So in Texas, is permission just out of the question?
No, yeah, it's absolutely out of the question. I know people that have lived here their entire life, and they're like, no, I can't even find a deer lease. I went to the event last Monday. It was the one that Jesse, I forget his last name. He's a wild game cook, owns a restaurant in Austin, and the Element guys from Meat Eater came.
Yep.
And there was a guy that was sitting at our table, and he was like, you guys got any leads on a lease? And I was like, because he had just moved here, I think, from California. I was like, brother, let me know when you find one, because I've lived here 5 years and I have not found one.
Yeah.
So, nope, have not had any luck
sucks.
with Texas.
That's depressing.
It is. It really stinks. And I know a lot of the people that listen to this podcast are from Texas. The only thing that really stinks about it is there's so many people that enjoy the outdoors and recreation, yet such a small, there's not a whole lot of access. Could you get enough access to suffice the people of Texas? Probably not. But it just, I don't know, it kind of stinks. I think anybody that's from here would tell you that too. Zach said, what is y'all's morning routine prior to going out?
So if it's vacation, alarm will go off. You press snooze at least 2 times. Then you get up. What I thought about just now is just last year, whenever, as soon as you get out of your cot, you'd have to put on your rubber boots because it rained so much, our whole wall tent got flooded in, and there was like a lake. We had lakefront property, and so when it's not that though, we basically just get all our gear on. We're probably running late, but we go ask Carol if he wants to go hunting because he moved from his cot to his truck because of the spiders. And so we'll knock on his window. Hey, you waking up in the morning? No. Okay. And then we'll leave and go to our stand.
So for you guys,
and we will get more of that type of footage this year at our vacation. I promise you that, because it is something to see. Like, Carol is very convincing with his words. Like, you're like, dude, you can be fully dressed, and Carol's like, dude, I'm not going because of this, and this. And then you'll think about it because he says it so smoothly, and you're like, you know what? Why am I hunting? And then you're like, oh yeah, because I want to shoot a deer. And then you got to reconvince yourself to go out.
What's awesome is Carol knows and for you guys that don't know, he hunts with us. He's one of our buddies. He's been on the live several times. We just call him Carol. His name's Peyton. So you guys probably haven't put 2 and 2 together. What he does in the mornings is he has spiders that get him on the wall tent. So he goes to his truck. It's very strategic though, because he knows in the tent we can shake him and mess with him to get him awake. When he moves to his truck, we always knock on his window, and he cracks it about this much, and he goes, nope. And then he rolls it back up. And we're like, are you going to this morning? And he's like, nope, not going to see anything anyways. And so he's very much an evening hunter at deer camp. If you were to tell him this, he would lie, but that's what is the truth.
We will get him a Carol cam, and it'll be a CCC, Camp Carol cam.
Yep.
And you all will understand what we're talking about.
I think my morning routine, I do not like to be rushed in the mornings. I'd rather get less sleep and be able to go in on my own terms. So Also, I don't know about you guys. My guts tend to try to move in the morning for some reason to use the bathroom, and I hate to be
Understandable. It's probably from all the energy drinks.
probably. I hate crawling up in the stand and being like, all right, I need to get down immediately. So if I give myself enough time to wake up, I usually can go to the bathroom before I get in the tree, which makes me sit a lot longer personally. That's probably TMI and probably not what you were asking for, but for what it's worth, there it is. Let's field one from Instagram. Kyle Ford Outdoors said, start saving your money or just come to Iowa or just move to the Midwest. Cheap housing compared to the rest of the world. You're right on the housing part, buddy. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
But I'm not moving to the Midwest.
Until your rural town gets a theme park built in, and then it's like Austin prices at this point. So just be prepared, brother.
Yeah, we'll see.
I know that didn't make sense to anybody else except me and Christian, but
Inside.
Yeah.
Zach said, do y'all wait to catch a target buck on camera in daylight, or do you just go in and sit if the wind's right?
Christian, private versus public, what's your thing? Like,
well, I have absolutely this many cameras on public that are cell cameras, so I don't get any real-time data.
we got a few out there.
Cell cameras?
No, not cell cameras, but we got a few out there that just hadn't been pulled from last year. So
yeah,
they're
for
soaking,
sure.
They're soaking.
He's saying to catch a target buck on camera in daylight, you wait.
I understand.
Or do you just go and sit with on public? Absolutely, just when the weather and the wind is right. On private, I can tell you this: a lot of times, that's where the summer pictures come in for me. Because if I know a buck that I want to hunt is in that general area, I don't have to have got his picture in the last week. If there's a really good cold front, or I won't always sit it if it's just a good wind direction, because you can have a good wind direction in the wrong weather and still not see a buck. Wind doesn't always just dictate that. So I will, if there's a good cold front and I have the right wind direction, I don't have to have a picture of a good buck to go hunt. I just know that that's going to be enough to put me in the chips most of the time on private per se.
Yeah, I agree with the public. And on private though, like I have a love-hate relationship with cameras on private, because they are really good for inventory and stuff like that. But you can get a picture of that one particular buck and you might only think, oh, he only passed through once, but he could be living on your property or passing through on a regular basis. You don't know. Cause like, that's what happened to me. I forgot when it started, but that Big 10, right? I got pictures of him as a 3-year-old and like consistently where I could go out there. Okay. He's going to walk by this, he's going to walk on this trail at 3:34 PM every day on the freaking dot. And I would see him. 4-year-old, I got one picture of him like early October, one picture of him mid-November, but I had a run-in with him again off camera. He just wouldn't come, anywhere near my stand, but I could see him off in the distance, and for sure that was him. And then the following year, like I knew around this time, just from historical data, that around like this week period, if the wind's right, I need to be out there every single day because he will make a showing. He didn't walk in front of the camera by 200 yards, but I seen him, 200, 250 yards out to my left, just walking through the field. And it's like, oh, okay. Like camera doesn't tell everything.
It doesn't even tell a fraction
Yeah.
of the story. Like I remember, I'll use an example from last year. Carol hunted the lease, this piece of private we have in Southwest Oklahoma, a lot in October because we had several really good bucks in there worth hunting. And there was one time he called me after a hunt and he said, hey dude, I saw 7 bucks this hunt. Like 5
That'd
good
be
ones.
nice.
Yeah. He saw 7 bucks this hunt. And I was like, that's crazy. I checked the camera this morning and there was like 1 deer. And he said, oh, none of them walked in front of the camera. Like they were just skirting all around where we had a feeder. They were walking through that, just a transition line, between 2 bedding areas. If you're waiting on the camera to inform you, you're probably too late. But I've also had it work out really well where it's like this buck hit this 3 days in a row and I'm going to go hunt, and then you kill him. That happens a lot, especially in the early season. So I don't use the camera. I do use the camera as a reason to go, but I don't use it as a reason not to go, if that makes sense. If the other things are right, I will still go.
So just to sum it up, you would use it as motivation and go regardless.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
it definitely helps if he hit it 3 days in a row. You're like, I'm gonna go.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
It's
gonna
like,
go.
okay.
Yeah.
I
Don't rely
understand.
too much on the cameras, but
All right. If you guys are anything like us, you love being in the deer woods and chasing big bucks. But there's another part of you that has that itch to chase other big game species. If you've ever dreamed of chasing black bear, mule deer, or moose, Alberta, Canada is the land of opportunity for these adventure-style hunts. Each year, hundreds of first-time visiting hunters from around the world come to Alberta for the options, quality, and accessibility that the land offers. With over 1,800 Boone and Crockett entries and endless possibilities of taking multiple species on a single trip, Alberta is truly a paradise for a big game hunter. This is why we partnered up with the Alberta Professional Outfitters Society. To check it out, go to apos.ab.ca and click Find an Outfitter. From there, you can browse all the different big game species and hunting styles that fit with what you want out of the hunt. Or you can send a free hunt inquiry through the Follow the Lead tool, and the outfitters who have what you are looking for will reach out to you directly. So make sure to check out apos.ab.ca to learn all about hunting in Alberta and get connected to the right outfitter for you. This one right here. Oh, you got it pulled up. Nice.
go ahead.
Oh, no. You, sir. You pulled it up. You.
Brian Dutcher said, y'all got your cameras out yet? Jake?
Yep. Been there since last year. Haven't
They're
pulled them.
they're always up if they're never down. You know what I'm saying? Never
Now-
take them down.
As cell cameras, are they active? No, because your boy ain't paying that until next month. Then I'll start paying those monthly fees. But yeah, SD cams, we talked about that earlier in the beginning of the pod, that we haven't really had time to go to our public spot right now. Summer's kind of flew by, so we're still trying to pick a date to go set those out.
Yeah, I've got some out on 2 pieces of private, and I do have one camera out and on Texas Public right now. So not on the place I drew out for. So I have not got anything but a raccoon. So that was a great spend of $17 a month. I might go out there and just get him just for making it hard on me.
Hey, we can Twinkie.
I can get me a hat.
Nice.
So yeah, we're gonna get those out. I don't know when, but we're going to. I'm telling you, the Western stuff is consuming a lot of our early season this year.
And I am excited, dude. I was talking with Jesse. I was sending him the pins and stuff on kind of like where we're going to be. And, hey, it's about, a X amount of hour drive. Like, we're going to get up here this day. And the next day he was sending me like just memes and screenshots of like, just funny stuff about deer season and all that. And he asked me, he's like, do I need to bring anything? And I was like a stand. And I was like, no, it's mostly going to be spot and stock. And he was like, I'm really excited about this, honestly. And I was like, you and me both, brother. Like, doesn't seem like it's going to be in 3 weeks either.
As soon as we secured the Nebraska tags, that's when it gets real, man.
Yeah.
That's when it gets real. Hunter Simmons said, Johnny Appleseed out here. Yeah. Hey, congrats on the engagement too, Hunter. You stud. Hunter just got engaged, so
congratulations on the end of your life.
The end of your life. I don't know why that one went over my head. Oh, funny. You said Jesse. Jesse just joined on Instagram.
Nice.
We were just talking about you. Zach said, does anyone here truck camp?
We try not to.
I was editing our Rutcation video and I was going back through the summer, and there was a clip of you sleeping in your back seat, and you were like, I had a white blanket on and the moonlight was up, and you said the mosquitoes, they came to me, so I just blocked off the window.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I had a white pillowcase on my pillow, or maybe I didn't have a pillowcase and the pillow was white, and I just covered up the white, and then the bugs quit getting attracted from the moonlight to the white, and after that I was bug free. I remember that. Hold on.
You lose your light. Zach, I do truck camp. It's funny you say that. I have a ARE camper shell that I bought on Facebook Marketplace for $500. It does not match the color of my truck. It's kind of like a brown, and my truck's a silver. So if you see me out on public, you'll know that's me. But I've slept in there with an air mattress. One of the things that I used last year quite a bit was a 3-inch memory foam pad from Walmart. I went and bought that during my recurve hunt. And I can tell you the memory foam pad, and Jake can vouch for this too, gets really disgusting. Being in the back of your truck. Yeah. So one of the things I'm looking at now, I'm actually messaging a guy this evening about I want to do a rooftop tent, like one of the clamshells. And so I'm trying to figure out the sizing on the brackets and how to run one of those on my truck. I would have to get rid of the camper shell and get a bed cover so I could still lock some stuff up. But I think that's the route that I'm going to end up going, because it is really nice to just pull up and be able to sleep. That is really, really nice.
And lay vertical or horizontal.
Oh, yeah. That'll change your whole life. Joseph said, I have 900 acres, 5 miles west of San Antonio. I have cameras along the Medina. I don't know.
Medina.
River with 30 different bucks, and there's almost no patterning them. They'll be on camera for months, then disappear for 6 to 10 months. Man, that sounds like a very complex problem that I could help you solve. If you have 900 acres. I'm just kidding.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get me a Texas bug. That's all. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't have to be very big. I just want to. My goal short term is to shoot. Short to long term is to shoot a buck in every single state that has a whitetail. So if you can help us out, that'd be great.
Well, I can tell you the river bottom bucks, you do get that being such a natural kind of movement area, you do end up getting a larger swatch of bucks than you normally would. I think just being in like a isolated piece of timber or something. So that kind of makes sense. We've seen that too on our river bottom pieces. You do get a lot of different bucks. Cole Owen said, how do you deer hunt? I'm new.
We're still trying to figure it out, brother.
How do you deer hunt?
I'll tell you what, we'll teach you if you teach us how to shoot, 3D. That'd be great.
Pull out your card and just spend a lot of money. That's how you deer hunt, man. Just be sad about it. Let's do a couple of these from Instagram over here. Hunter Simmons said, thanks, brother. I don't know if this is delayed. The old lady is learning how to shoot. I forgot how much of a learning curve it is. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I still myself am learning how to shoot. Luke Chance 17 said, in HA fashion, what are your own close but no cigars? That's a good question.
I don't think we've ever gotten asked that before.
No.
Huh.
That's pretty good. It's funny when it gets turned on you. What is your close but no cigar, Jake?
I have. It seems like I just build up more of those stories each and every year.
Jake is a walking close but no cigar highlight reel.
Yeah. I'm literally going to make myself a shirt that has close but no cigar, and then just has a big old beer can on the back, and below it's going to say like "Drown your sorrows here." I don't know, something.
That's a good. We should do a close but no cigar shirt.
That would be pretty cool,
and
actually.
it's like an arrow flying past a buck, and a guy in the stand
just like.
Exactly.
But man, so I think it's like 2017, something like that. We just got on this piece of public, and so it was me, Christian, and then one of our buddies, Jared Hayes. We were all sitting kind of relatively close together, right? Like, and we were all new. Like, I don't even think I had a smartphone or anything, so I dang sure didn't have OnX or anything like that. So in a place with no cell phone service, it's like, okay, I'm going to be safe here because I don't know. I'm directionally challenged. Thank God for OnX nowadays. So long story short, Christian was about 300 yards to my left. Jared Hayes was about 300 yards to my right. We're all kind of sitting around this little clear cut. And we're just right on the edge of it. Well, I remember this day specifically because I was having a grand old time setting up my camera because we just started getting into filming. I got this new Hawk camera arm, but I was hunting out of a climber, so I didn't really know how to position the camera arm in a climber because my climber, it was a hand-me-down. The front rails were shut off or cut off, and so I could literally shoot sitting down if I wanted. But with that, when your bars of your climber are like right here when you're sitting, your camera arm's up here because the mount that's attached to the tree is like this much higher because it has to go over. So quick story, put your mount in between your bottom and your top piece of the climber. That way the camera is like right here. But in this instance, I was having trouble, and I was like trying to set up till about 9 or 9:30 that morning. And I just got set down. My camera was about 2 feet above me. And I was like, if something walks in, I'm going to have to stand up, then turn it on, then grab my bow, and then go from there. Well, I'm just catching my breath. I probably said every cuss word in the book that morning. And I hear something behind me. And I turn and look, and I just see a butt of a deer. And at first, I think it's a doe. And I'm like, okay, no matter what, if it walks out in front of me, I'm going to shoot at it. My first public land deer. And it starts kind of walking into the thicket, and then it kind of just barely peeks its head out. And I'm like, that's a buck. And so I'm like, I look up at my camera, and I see it 2 feet above me, and I'm like, wasn't meant to be. And the thing like kind of just sits there for a second, like scanning out in the open. And then it just kind of turns and like it's starting to trot towards me, like directly out of this tree line. Like I'm not hidden into the tree line. I am one of those that's like the very edge of the tree, the furthest tree on the edge of the tree line. So I'm sticking out like a sore thumb because I don't know what I'm doing at this point. And he walks, he's probably 20, 25 yards, walking directly towards me. He stops, looks directly up at me, and I'm like, awesome. Luckily I don't have a bow hanger or anything. I just have it in my lap. And he starts kind of like doing that trot away, like he's spooked. And I grab my bow, and I shoot, and I freaking drilled this sucker. Don't ask me. I was guessing the yardage. I thought he was like 30, 35. Used my third pin. Worked like a charm. Well, he was quartered slightly away, so it went right behind this the front shoulder, and it stuck in the opposite side shoulder. Well, when it did that, the arrow was like not letting his arm come down. I guess is what it looked like in the 2 seconds I was watching it. He tripped himself up, and his face was just doing a ditch digger. And oh yeah, I forgot to tell you the most iconic sound ever that I've still remember to this day. Right when he hit and he started going into the ditch digger, he let out this god awful like just roared, dude. Did a ditch digger, got up, and like 3-legged ran across this field, and all you could see in the tall grass was just a rack. And he just hauled it out of there. Well, apparently Christian could see me from where he was sitting, and he saw this whole ordeal. And so I was excited. I immediately got down.
My binos.
Yeah. You even heard me call out, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. I heard Matt. That's how stupid and close we were running.
Yeah. Hey, it almost worked, but yeah. I got down immediately because I was excited, and then he walked over, and then Jared walked over, and what'd you say? What'd you say, you little liar? You told me something.
What did I say to you? Oh, yep. I said I didn't see him leave the field. At first, I asked you if it was a buck or a doe.
That is true.
And you said a buck.
It was a buck. She was buck.
And I was like, I didn't see it leave the field because when Jake shot, all I saw was a deer run through the grass, and like I immediately threw my binos up, and I was watching that next ridge, and I was like, I'm waiting for him to cross, and he never did. And I was like, where is he? So yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So long story short, I looked to where he was doing the ditch digger, no blood whatsoever. Couldn't find my arrow. Obviously, it was sticking out of him. And so we're like, should we give him a minute? And you're like, dude, I didn't see him leave the field. He's done. And of course, by the time you got over there and then Jared got over there and I was kind of giving you all the rundown, it was probably 30, 45 minutes. So you would think if you pinwheeled one, 30, 45 minutes, plenty of time. So we just went, and where we thought he was walking or running, and still no blood. We got to the other tree line, probably quarter mile away, maybe. And Jared found a big pile of blood. And from there, we probably went another half a mile tracking until we ran into this next just 9-foot tall grass. And us at the time, nor did we even have money to, we didn't really know of, thermal drones or dogs. Or
thermal drones were not a thing in 2017.
Yeah. So basically we were like, well, we can't find blood. So we basically lost the deer, and we looked hard, but it was just one of those things that looking back, that deer's for sure dead. And there's a really good dead head out there somewhere. And just give you all a little visual. We actually had a picture of this buck, or at least Justin did, that we just, I guess we're kind of hunting a spot at that time. But he was like, we called him the AT&T buck, and he had like 12, 13 points, something like that. And it just looked like a hand on each side. But what really stuck out is he was pretty narrow. And then on his right G3 or 4 was broke. And so that was like very narrow racked, broke G3 or 4, whatever it was. And that was 100% him. So we think that he was roughly like around the like low to mid 140s mark. And that would have definitely been like a great buck to have. But so, yeah, that was my close but no cigar.
We called him the AT&T buck because just like raising the bar, you know, it was like 10, 8, 6, 4, and they were just like ding, 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 ding. Like really good buck. I've searched high and low for that picture on my computer. I'm sure
I really wish you would find it.
I think it's on some college hard drive somewhere that I don't have anymore, but that was a really, really good buck. And it makes you sick because that's one of the ones where you're just like, you know, they're out there somewhere, but you just never take them home. What the wall would look like if we could take all those ones home.
Dude. So what's yours? I think I know, but we'll see.
I'm trying to think. You think I should tell the head one? Is that the one that you were thinking?
I mean, that's the one I was thinking, but is that the one you lose sleep at?
I think the one that really hurts my feelings is we were hunting a piece of public, and I shot 2 does the previous evening out of a climber, and I had left my climber back down in this super hellacious ravine, really steep let off, but it kind of benched off down there. And so we drugged 2 does out the previous evening, and my uncle was like, "You want to go back down and grab your climber and go hunt somewhere else?" And I was like, "No, I'll just go hunt there in the morning." So I went back that morning, and we had a picture of a really big 8-pointer in there. You hear people throw around the term 130, 140 inch 8, and you realize that that's a 8 point that's 17 inches wide. Yeah. Well, we had a trail cam picture of a buck in there that was 12-inch 2s, 10-inch 3s, 5-inch eye guards, huge frame, 23-inch beams, just a beast, probably 140-inch 8-point. And I saw him. He came up on the top of the ridge, and I watched him for half an hour. Made me sick as a dog watching him because he would. What it was this bench was an entire select cut. So there was immature pines, layover of just trees that had fallen or been cut down, and then a bunch of just like briars and that real thick growth that you get in like the first 3 years of a cut. And he just kind of disappeared in them. And I remember watching him, and he kind of worked his way out, and he popped out at like 25 yards. Well, I had just bought a PSE from Academy, and it had a 3-pin sight on it, and I had sighted it in like 3 days before I came on this trip. I drew back on this buck. I remember when he stepped out of the select cut, I was watching him, and I was just like, there's no way this is going to happen. Like, because this buck is 30 inches bigger than any deer I've ever seen. And he walks out, I draw back on him, and he's mature, huge bodied. And I shoot, and I just jerk it so bad. Jerk it like so bad. I'm talking
Mike
in front
Tyson couldn't even punch the trigger that hard.
It was hard. It was a hard punch. And this arrow is going in front of his chest, right? But he's head down. And so when I went, to stop him, his head was down, and he turned and looked at me. He didn't go up and turn. He just looked at me like that. And I shot right in front of his brisket, but his head was right there. And this is a terrible story, so don't replicate this. This is an accident. I hit him right square in the forehead, and he jumped up. He ran off. My entire arrow was sticking out. I did not see his horns when he was running off. All I saw was my arrow doing this. I went about 70 yards, and I found the arrow broke off at the insert. So I was shooting a 4-blade Muzzy fixed at the time, and I never that was it. Like, you would have thought it knocked him silly. It sounded like a Louisville Slugger hitting over somebody's back, just a whack, and never found that buck. And I'm sure there's going to be a deadhead in 90 years that somebody finds with a Muzzy in it, and they're gonna be like, what was this idiot doing?
It's fossilized.
And that idiot is going to be me. So I've done that, and I'm not proud of it, but that is my close but no cigar.
It happens. So you heard it here first, or you heard it. Put it on TikTok, okay? Christian takes headshots with his bow.
I did
Anyways,
not do that. I have a picture of this deer too. If anybody wants to see it,
so you keep that picture, but not mine. I understand.
look at that.
Yeah, it's a good buck. I don't think you mentioned how long was that whole encounter?
Probably 30 minutes.
See, that's a long time to look at a big deer.
Well, especially, and you got to consider, I was like 19 years old. I still don't know my head from my butt, but I really didn't know anything then.
You were an adult. What do you mean? Legally, you were an adult.
Right.
Charge this man.
I know. It was a mistake. That's why they call it the close but no cigar. That one still makes me sick.
I like those really quick encounters. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you just see him, he walks in, and like within 45 seconds, you're shooting. That's what I live for.
Right.
If I stand and like look at something too long, I get inside my own head.
Well, you don't have as much time to sit there and mess it up. Yeah. So I like the quick ones. Like he runs in, you're like struggling to get your release on the deer. You're like,
exactly.
You know. I like those too. Okay, let's field a few of these. Michigan Harvester said, I'm deer scouting right now, and I just found a 6-point that has a really big drop tine.
Ooh.
Sent y'all a picture on IG. We'll definitely be looking at that after this podcast. 6-point with a big drop tine.
That's like one of my bucket list. Not necessarily the drop tine. I'd love to shoot a double drop tine, but just a big gnarly 6-point, just like a big 8, just minus the eye guards. That's what I want.
Well, Jordy Jamerick shot a 6-point that was like 130 last year.
That's a big 6-point.
Or it was a 7-point that was like 130, and it netted 124 and like 6/8. And I was like, dude, that is a monster. That's a monster 6. Yeah. I want to be as well. Okay. Zach said, I'll meet y'all at your public spot. I think I know where it is. He said Texas, that is. Yeah. It doesn't take a magician to know there's not that much public land. So you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm hesitant to say, or I'm not going to say where it is, but yeah, you're probably right. If you're a Texan, you probably know exactly where I'm at. Brian Dutcher said, y'all going to do more of the ground game this year or just hang and hunt with the saddle? What are you going to do?
I think we're trying to mix it up a little bit. Well, obviously, we're hunting mule deer and stuff like that. We're not really planning on bringing a saddle there with us on those hunts. But as for, I guess, whitetail, I don't know. I mean, because I consider if you hunt out of a blind or anything, that's still like that's not ground hunting in a sense. Like you are, but it's basically like hunting out of a tree stand to me. I think ground hunting is like when you find your own either natural brush blind or you do a spot and stalk. I think that's ground hunting.
Yeah.
But didn't you say you were going to try to do a little bit of ground hunting on your lease?
For sure. I would like to do some ground hunting over a decoy this year. So probably try that on the lease. I can tell you, if you call spot and stalk ground hunting, we're going to do a lot of that because we're doing antelope and muley in Nebraska. Those will be all spot and stalk. And then we're going to New Mexico for elk, which will be all spot and stalk. I'm so excited.
That's going to be so cool. I'm ready.
I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life for this hunt.
That's great. I'm in the worst. So it's a good mix.
Well, you're not holding the bow, so it ain't going to be on you. I might have to leave you back at the trailhead if you can't handle it.
Oh, I can handle it. I can handle it. Dude, listen, I can be in the worst shape of my life and I could still outdo you 100%. 100%. And if, dude, I will. That's just point blank. I will.
I'm in the worst shape of my life and I'll still outdo you.
No, you think I'm kidding.
That's the pride of a man coming through. I love it.
You think I'm kidding.
Proverbs talks about that, man. You got it. The pride comes before the fall.
Oh, listen, I will get humbled, out of breath, whatever. But me knowing myself and knowing you, at my worst day, I can absolutely walk circles around you. So, anyways, let's move on.
Awesome.
Cole Owen, tack 25 arrows. That's how many I've lost, probably. But
yeah, I was talking with Jake Hofer the other day from Exodus, and he said, "You already went through 24 arrows." I said, "Tack, 3 courses, shot the 3D experience." I've broke probably 7 arrows at home. Yeah, that adds up. 25 arrows. Yeah, that's adding up.
Yeah, you at least lose at least one a week. Shooting, just
Dude,
shooting.
at least. Like, I've Robin Hooded 3 this year. That is not a brag because I'm like, they were at 20, 25 yards. But I have that target that is cut up down the middle. So there's
Mhm.
only so many of those white dots on the target that you can shoot. And so I'm having to shoot the same one. And every time I hear arrow contact, I'm like, please, no.
Yeah. So my problem is I'm too cheap to buy me like a new target, and so I have just this old shot out like bag target, and I'll prop it up like against like a barbed wire fence or something, and it's like so shot out that it can't like stand on its own. So
Yep.
if you do, it'll just tilt back. So I lean it like the corner edge of like the bag on the T-post, and of course if I'm like trying to shoot long or something like that, or I just get tired, it'll sooner or later one will whiff out there to that corner and then go through the bag, and the T-post will stop it, and then it'll shatter, the tip of the arrow. And I'm like, this is awesome. And you can hear it too from however far away you are. It's like ting. Listen, Carol. Listen,
You
Carol.
got to read that for the people that aren't watching the video.
Peyton Carroll, aka Carol, said too cheap to buy a target but has 3K in Sitka.
It's so true. It's so
Boy,
true.
I'm comfy though. Let me tell you, I am comfy. And plus, half my Sitka Abby bought before we were married. Notice I haven't got any new stuff because it's my cart now. But I'm just kidding.
It's awesome. Hey, everybody's got their vices, dude. Jake might be cheap, but when we go to a restaurant, he really lets it out. He lets it all hang out.
Do I?
Dude, you'll go to you'll go all out on Brahms, man.
Dude, yeah. You got to get like 4 Brahms sauces for 1 large fry. You just have to.
I don't make the rules. Zach said, a 200-inch whitetail walks out. Do you care about the filming? I can answer
No. Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? If it ain't convenient, no. You drop that thing like a sack of potatoes, dude. Filming, what's that?
Jake presses record
What
as
are
it's
you?
flopping on the ground and then goes over to
exactly
it.
what I do. I'll press record. I just missed a 200-incher, and then I'll shut it back off.
I just missed a 200-incher. I think I would. I genuinely do. I've kind of gotten to the point now where I press record on my camera before I grab my bow. And I make sure everything's rolling. So with that 360 GoPro that I run and then my big camera, if the deer walked out of frame on my big camera, would I risk it at 30 yards to readjust it? No, I wouldn't. But that's why I would make sure my 360 was rolling. Yeah,
And
I would want to get it on camera.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. We were talking about this the other day, and it's almost like the camera now is like just part of the shot process, because, before it's like grab your bow, hook it on, find your anchor points. And now it's like, it's kind of systematic. And if you don't do that, then it feels like something's missing. So it almost like spazzes you out a little bit if you don't have the camera in play. It almost feels like too rushed in a sense. You kind of get that same feeling, or no?
I think what you're talking about, I think the camera takes a lot of the shot anxiety away from me, because it is something that I know when I see the deer, I'm like, I'm still 3 steps away from drawing back on this thing. Like, I got to get this camera rolling, got to get this GoPro rolling. So for me, I got this other thing to focus on. And then when the shots like presents itself, I'm like, okay, now I can focus on that. And it takes away a lot of it for me. So I see a buck running in, the first thing I'm thinking, I'm like, get the camera, know? So I think that's helped me a lot, to be honest. So that is an element that you don't think about very often. Okay. Yeah. So Kurt Watkins said, you shot those single bevels last year. Any plan to try another single bevel or head weight? Yes. So I think I'm going to try 100s this year. I shot 150s last year and I liked those. The Ranch Fair gave me some Magnus 150s and then some 200 of the Sirius archeries. So, I think Jake's going to take some of those 200s and try the Sirius as well. So yeah, we're going to try 100s, 150s, and 200s, and then 3 different brands we'll probably end up trying. So yeah, there's plans. Is there anything else that you were going to shoot, Jake, or just the series and the VPAs?
That's about it. Because I really like the VPAs, and again, we're not sponsored by them, but I really mess with them. Made in America. The resharpen aspect is key. Plus, I'm kind of a teddy bear when it comes to the people behind the curtains, and I really like what they're about. So I kind of mess with them.
Yeah. Yep. You're right. Brian said, Peyton, where are you, bud? Haha, I don't see you much on the live. I know, man. He just kind of ditches us. It's kind of like a tough thing.
Yeah.
You ever have one of those friendships, Brian, that you like keep pursuing them and they keep running away? That's kind of us.
That is Carol. That is Carol. The only
It's
time
just-
he ever talks to one of us is about hunting. Hey man, where you hunting?
Hey man, do you mind if I go shoot that buck on the lease?
We're just kidding. Oh, Carol responded.
What did he say?
Peyton Carroll, he responded with, if you can talk Christian and Jake into staying on for another 15 minutes, I'll hop on and let the crowd know what's crack-a-lackin'. Man, that sucks. We were going to literally end the live in 14 minutes. So
yeah, I guess Carol will have to be here for next week or 2 weeks from now. I think we're Hunter Simmons said the hunt critic would not approve. He's talking about shooting deer in the head. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't approve myself, so I wouldn't expect him to.
Young dumb.
Yeah. Well, we don't have any more comments on the live yet. So if you guys do, it seems like every time we talk about getting off, it's like everyone's like comes back real quick. So if you have anything, drop it now, or I think we're gonna talk a little bit about our upcoming trips, and then we're gonna end it unless people got more questions. But we dude, 3 weeks pretty much exactly, and we're headed to Nebraska.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I mean, I think I'm most excited because we both have tags in Nebraska, and we both kind of want to get it done like around the first 2 days of season, because that would be great just from the other things we have on the agenda later in the season. I think it's really going to help, I guess, footage wise, actually having, camera guys and also another set of eyes per person. And I think that's going to change the ball game.
I think so.
Introduce some fresh faces on video.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm excited too, because Nebraska, what I really do like about the state is they do have a good mix of muley and whitetail. And I want a muley. I know you want a muley. I am 100% okay shooting a good whitetail. Like if a 130-inch whitetail walked in front of me on public,
okay,
it wouldn't even be a hesitation. It would not even be a hesitation.
If there was a difference between a 140-inch muley or a 130-inch whitetail, what would you do?
Oh, I'd shoot the muley. For sure.
Okay. What if it was a 130 muley or 140 whitetail? What would you do?
I'd shoot the muley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to shoot a muley pretty bad. So yeah, I would definitely do that. Another thing too is me and Gabe are going up a few days early to antelope hunt. One of the things that I was looking at today was those decoys that go on your bow. Do you think that would be worth it for a bow hunt?
On antelope, yes, I think so.
Why?
Based on
the experience we had.
Yeah, kind of. Well, because what was our main problem when we were in the Panhandle of Oklahoma? It was, once we were getting up there, I mean, it's almost like a 2-person job, and especially if you want to throw on the filming aspect of it. But let's say you're wanting Gabe to hang back, and you're wanting to just try a situation where you need to go up there solo dolo, right? Like you're not going to have someone to pop up that thing for you, because the one we had when we were also trying to shoot, it literally takes an extra person just to pop up the decoy. So if you had one attached to your bow, and then when the time got right, you could flash it. Now, granted, I don't know for Nebraska when they really go into heat or anything like that, but I would assume it'd be around that time.
It won't be the rut when I'm there, but I do think just that curiosity. So we've hunted them in the Panhandle. We've killed a few in the Panhandle of Oklahoma. For people that don't know that. And the thing I think that curiosity factor where they're just kind of like, okay, you getting up in their space as long as they think you're an antelope. I think that would help at a minimum. Just like if you popped up on that spot and stock scenario and you're 75 yards away, just to flash them with something to hold them right there for just a few seconds. Because I think you
Mhm.
pop up an antelope. I think what they would do is kind of do a little half circle or kind of start looking a little weird and just trying to figure it out. It might give you another 5 or 10 seconds. That's kind
I
of
mean,
what I was thinking.
It wouldn't hurt. Plus, I don't think it'd be that much more weight on your bow, so you should be good.
Yeah, I've been looking at the Ultimate Predator decoy,
How
and they
much
have
are
a
they?
pack $80 for the bow one. It's not
Not
bad.
terrible.
They had one for I was thinking about getting you can get a discount if you buy 2. I was thinking about getting the whitetail one too and just like walking around on my leash with the whitetail with the little horns.
Dude,
You-
actually try that. Yeah, no, especially on your lease. 100% try that. At least
I
for a
think
doe or something.
I think I could kill a buck with a decoy like that. Like the little bow decoy.
I mean, how much cheaper though? Let me ask you that.
I think it's like you get $10, $15 off or something if you buy more than one. So not a whole lot. But the thing is, I don't like the idea of storing a huge whitetail decoy for 365 because it's like you use it one time a year or 2 times a year.
So you're talking about just getting one of those ones you mount. Man, but I kind of like at least for whitetail wise, I like the set up the decoy type look of it. You know what I mean? Like
It's
there's
cool.
just something about them, like, smoking a decoy. But
Yeah.
if anyone's ever seen Brandon Quant's video that he's probably most famous for, he has a really good spot and stock with a decoy whitetail video, and it is sick. So go check that out.
Yeah. Well, we're going pretty soon. It's going to be awesome. Let's fill these last 2 comments and then we'll end this live. Logan Borm said, y'all ever hunt around the Texoma area? We have not. We have not hunted around Texoma. Brian Dutcher said, go get them, fellas. Stay safe, shoot straight, and knock the big one down. Love the pod. Keep on keeping on, fellas. Appreciate it, man. We appreciate it.
Joe Dirt.
Peyton's not going to get to participate in this one in 2 weeks. So I will say, we're trying to do these every other week. So a couple of these a month. So I wasn't able to do it on Monday, the last one, because I went and met the Element guys and went to that butcher thing. And then yesterday, we had another podcast scheduled. So we're going to try to do these every other week. Expect one, not this Monday, the 12th, but another one on the 19th. So be looking out for that. Elijah said, good luck, man. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. So that's it. And then we have just so you guys know, we have a podcast with guests coming out every Monday at 6 a.m. They premiere. So check those out. And then we usually put the lives out, the replays on Fridays. So that's what we're up to. And we got a lot of hunting videos coming. And I'm excited about them.
And soon when hunting season starts getting here, we'll kind of do a lot more internals. So, and we usually call those hunt talks. So what we'll do is we'll basically just kind of give either a rundown of the hunts or what we have to come, or just basically it's almost like a water cooler talk, and that could be at camp or when we're back here at home and getting ready for the next hunt.
And those are fun because we usually do them where we're hunting or camping. Yeah. And so if we get something down, we're talking about it, what happened, the scenario, or what didn't happen and how we messed up. So either way, they're fun.
A lot of those.
But we appreciate everybody listening. The lives are one of our favorites to do. So thank you guys, everyone who commented, and we'll see you guys here in a couple weeks.
Jesus loves you.
Peace.